Hello, everyone. It's a great pleasure being here with you today and sharing the story of Kosovo. I'm here together with my colleague and co-presenter Lumnie, who will start the presentation, and then I'll catch up after her. Lumnie, I'll share the screen so we can start the presentation.
Thank you, Sovran. I will start the first phase. I will speak about general information, and then Sovran will speak more about the research we did with students from 11th and 12th grade. Can you put another next slide, please? Next slide. Okay, thank you. We decided to put some information about Kosovo because we knew this event is global and we assume not everybody knows where is Kosovo. So Kosovo is in a Balkan country, Southeast Europe. As you see, it was part of ex-Yugoslavia, which means we are post-conflict country or developing country. The population is 1.8 million people, and we have the youngest population in Europe, with 1/4 under age of 15, and around 40% are below 29 years old. This puts a lot of pressure in education system and also in labor market, but also it could be a good opportunity for investment in education. Every year in a labor market, there are 18,000 people who enter labor market, and only 10 to 12,000 people get jobs, which means we have about, let's say, 6 to 10,000 job seekers who are entering labor market every year. What is concerning is youth unemployment rate, which is 48.9%, and also inactive rate which is 61.7, 79.2 for females, and compared with 44 for male. I want to speak about female inactive labor market rate, because in our society, women are supposed to stay home, maybe also because of lack of kindergarten in the rural areas. They cannot find a job, and also they have responsibility to look after elderly people. Next slide, please. Okay, we said the youth unemployment rate is very high, but on the other side, we have employers who complain that they cannot find the labor force, skilled labor force. Usually, employers say that their productivity is low because of lack of human skills, human resources. We have vocational schools which offer profiles which are not relevant to labor market anymore. We have employers who are not happy with the skills which are offered in vocational schools. Another problem lately, which is concerning us, is that we have brain drain. Many people are leaving Kosovo and then going to Western countries, especially in Germany. We have a big problem with the doctors and nurses who are leaving Kosovo, and also technical profession like engineers, architects, IT people, craftsmanship people. So this is when my colleague Sovran speaks later. You can see that in research, students want to study medicine because they want to emigrate. This is quite concerned for our country. Now I would give a short introduction of career development support system in Kosovo. We have career education in schools, which is piloted in 330 schools. It's part of a curriculum field which called Life and Work. And career education, it's one part, and together with entrepreneurship and ICT. Another, we have an employment agency which offers career guidance services for job seekers at the public employment service. Usually they would offer services for registered people on job mediation, job searching skills, etc. And also we have vocational training centers which operate alongside with public employment service, which offer 3 to 6 month vocational training to help job seekers to enter in labor market. Then we have in most municipal level some NGOs which are offering, amongst other activities, also the job searching skills training for youth in their municipality. We have some economic chambers and industry association, especially industry association, which are quite active in giving feedback to schools about labor, about skills needed in labor market. And we have higher education institutions which are obliged by accreditation agency to offer career guidance services for students. In some public higher education institutions are well-established career centers, in some internationals, whereas in some others are just there but do not do much about to help students transition from school to the world of work. Okay, I will finish now, and I will give the floor now to my colleague Sovran.
Thank you, Lumnie. Hello, everyone again. I'm Sovran BERISHA. I represent Kosovo Career Development Foundation, which is a non-profit working in the area of career guidance in Kosovo, and also mandated by the Ministry of Education to provide career guidance services. As Lumnie mentioned, it is a fact that our country faces several problems in terms of workforce development, in terms of providing the right skills for our workforce based on labor market needs. However, it seems like the public sector, in this case, the Ministry of Education, has learned the lesson, and therefore, as Lumnie mentioned, we can see that there are some corrective action that has been already taken. Therefore, we wanted to see what is the impact of the career guidance component that is now being piloted with the public lower and upper secondary schools. Therefore, with the support of our foundation, KCDF, we have conducted a study with 733 grade 11 and grade 12 students, which per our education systems, it includes upper secondary schools so it includes students from gymnasiums and vocational schools. And we consider this study to be representative because it also includes students from 98 out of 105 total upper secondary schools in the country. Some of the overarching objectives of the study we conducted is we wanted to see, considering that we have a limited number of jobs generated by the economy, while many youth graduating on an yearly basis, we know that it is challenging to find a job, and also for the existing jobs, there is not the best welfare possible for the youth. So we wanted to see what is their career thinking, the way the youth finds access to the work force or to the labor market, and how mature they feel and they are for finding a job and transitioning to the labor market. In terms of the gender distribution of our sample, we have a roughly 55% women representation and 45% men participating in our survey. Starting off with our findings on the favorite occupations for the youth, we can see from the graph in this slide that medicine-related occupations are the most favorite ones declared by youth themselves. And the way youth goes about declaring these occupations, we will find that out later to see what sources and what factors affect their choice. And then medicine is followed by ICT, architecture, education services, and nursing. As Lumnie mentioned, we have a problem with brain drain. So not only the people that are not qualified leave the country to find jobs elsewhere, but also qualified ones are leaving the country in many cases. And therefore, we consider that one of the reasons why medicine ranks so high in the favorite occupations is because this is considered a way for our youth to better integrate in the Western European labor market. However, ICT is definitely an industry of a lot of potential here in the country, also together with architecture, nursing, and education services. When it comes to the most demanded occupations, our foundation works with many industry representatives, such as the chambers of commerce, but also industry associations. And from the research that is conducted on labor market indicators, we understand that in our country, ICT, engineering, and food processing jobs are the most demanded, also craft jobs that are more hands-on jobs. So among those, we wanted to understand how much, to what extent our youth is informed about the potential in the labor market, what the opportunities are in the private sector. And as the study indicates, most of the youth agree that ICT is the field with the best perspective in the market, followed by craft jobs and engineering and food processing. We can see that ICT is by far the most demanded occupation according to our youth. And this is mainly because we have a lot of focus also from international businesses and corporations who are outsourcing their services to the country, but also of the inner market that has a very high demand for programming services and ICT related services. When it comes to the influence on career decision, our education system promotes and starts working with youth and guiding them to their right career path, starting in sixth grade. But in grade 8 and 9, pupils are asked to do self-assessment in terms of their personality trait and their aptitude. And from here, we wanted to understand what are the main influencing factors for our youth in terms of making such an important decision for their career. And as you can see from the graph, it turns out that family, in this case, parents and siblings, are the most important determinant, that the youth agrees mostly to be an influencing factor that they rely upon, followed by teachers and then friends. When it comes to family, to parents and siblings, there is a lot of concern in the country that our education system needs to do more to engage family in terms of raising awareness about their role in guiding children to the right careers, and also in helping them gather more information so that the pupils make an informed decision about their career. However, what is concerning here from the answers received is that teachers are not considered a very significant factor influencing pupils' career choice, which speaks also to the fact that maybe teachers need to attend more training and more professional development. And as Lumnie mentioned earlier, our career guidance is only a pilot in 330 schools out of 770, which is the total. So definitely we need to balance this out in terms of adding more to the role of the teacher so they can have a better influence, because teachers are the ones that are supposed to have the information and become familiar with the process of career guidance for the youth. Considering that there is a lot of uncertainty in the market and in terms of what future the children will choose, we also looked at their 5-year outlook, future outlook. And from here, although we had almost half of the students came from vocational education system, we can still see that 51% of our youth are focused towards higher education after finishing upper secondary school, followed by 21% who want to get a job, and then 16% want to start their own business. And what's concerning, as mentioned earlier, is the large percentage of students who want to migrate to other countries. 51% of the students choosing higher education is an indicator that there is a lot of uncertainty and that our youth is pursuing higher education in the hope to get better skills and to become more attractive for the labor market, to become better and easier integrated in the market. And then we have the 21% that is going to employment. However, what really was striking to us while conducting this study was that even for the students that declare they are planning to migrate within the next 5 years, 69% of them feel and plan to do so, regardless of whether they manage to find their preferred job within the country. And that speaks to probably another problem that we need to be working more, offering better jobs and more welfare in the labor market. When it comes to the sources of information about occupations, through our projects and also through the projects that are being conducted by the Ministry of Education and many donor organizations, the international community bringing international practices in the country, that lack of information is now being bridged. Therefore, schools are using different methods to spread out information to youth about the world of work and also about occupations, but also about education institutions. And here we can see that around 30% of our youth consider that discussions, interviews conducted with professionals, but also presentations by professionals in different fields are an important source of information. Internships and apprenticeship, or in general experiential learning, is another important source of 35%. And then research on the internet using Busula, which is the National Career Guidance Information System, is also one important way of collecting information for youth. What is also concerning is that 10% of the youth expressed that they have not thought about this step before, and given the fact that this is the 11th and 12th graders, we think that this is a high number of students who declare that they have not thought about narrowing down their career path. When it comes to the sources of information, how our youth obtains information regarding career choice, career paths, we have ranked based on what is currently going on in the market, is the National Career Guidance Information System, Busula. And then we have initiatives in gymnasiums, which are called career clubs, initiatives such as career centers in vocational schools, but media such as TV, radio, and social media seem to be by far the most dominant and suitable source of information for our youth. Also, on a significant level, also businesses themselves and education fairs. This also speaks to the fact that we need to be working more in reaching youth through social media and TV programs, which currently in the country we don't do that much. So this should serve as a lesson learned for our public sector on how we reach best youth. And we can also see that cooperating more with businesses, with the private sector, is another important source of information according to our youth. Given all the changes in trends after the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, we asked youth how they feel about their future after COVID, and 89.5% of them participating in this survey agree and responded that COVID-19 has put more importance on skills related to self-management, time management, and digital skills, while only 10.5% of our youth think that COVID-19 has not affected the way work will be conducted in the future. And in terms of youth confidence and how ready they feel and how confident they feel about the future, we asked them to do a self-assessment, and we can see that 66% of our youth are confident or very confident about finding a job, being able or having the right skills to find a job when graduating from upper secondary school, while only 8.7% consider that they are unconfident or very unconfident about their skill sets and preparation for the labor market. However, especially at this age we were targeting, usually students are more tended to do an over-assessment of the current skills. And in order to balance for that, we asked another question: about what kind of skills they need to obtain. So 94.1% of our youth consider that they still need to learn additional skills to become more attractive for the labor market. And among those skills, the most frequently selected ones were ICT-related skills, such as coding and programming and design, communication, time management, and organizational skills. This is our presentation on our education system and also on the study conducted with youth. We would be very happy to take any questions from the audience.